Bro, I think me and you, are ugly. Right, David? At you. Are we chopped, chat? Are we chopped? Um, some days I be looking at myself, I'm like, damn, I'm kind of fine. Other days I be looking at myself and I'm like, damn, I'm kind of chopped. And with Black Pill being bigger than ever right now, and guys like Clav kind of popping on social media, it influences the youth a lot into thinking a lot about looksmaxxing or becoming insecure with their looks and thinking that they have to do a bunch of crazy stuff. Anyway, we're getting right into the video. We're not gonna hold back.
The other day I was doing my
Are we
morning routine, spending
chopped?
40 minutes looking for the perfect YouTube video to start the day with, and for some reason, I kept getting a bunch of videos on how to get a better physique and face, like over and over.
Yo, my feed does get infected with this
And at
stuff.
first I thought my algorithm was just being mean, but
Do I watch it? No. The kind of stuff that's kind of directed towards this that I do watch though, because I'm really into like fashion. I love clothes. Is like there's this guy named Ezra 4K. I think that's his name. Love his videos. I watch a lot of his videos. Um, he does a lot of fashion like tips and ranking stuff. I like those videos.
then I remembered, oh yeah, today is January. When setting goals for the year, many people have some kind
Yeah.
of goal relating to their appearance. Maybe they want to lose weight or gain weight or start a new fitness plan or a new face routine or they're
Dude, I'm so bad at fitness, bro. I used to be in the gym during high school quite heavily, but after I graduated, I cannot go consistently. I suck at it.
finally gonna commit to counting calories this year, but then 2 hours into it, you're trying to decide if you use 2/3 or 3/4 of a tablespoon of peanut
I've
butter in your
never had a
breakfast
big
smoothie, and you
appetite
decide to
though.
never do this again. Who eats 7/8 of anything? There's nothing wrong with trying to look better. How you look influences how people perceive you and treat you, so it makes sense to be concerned.
This is so real. That is so real. Why is that? Why does it matter, bro? Like, genuinely. I understand on an attraction, like a relationship level, but it shouldn't, you shouldn't think you're a better person than somebody because of their looks.
About it to a degree. I'm also aware that
This
I'm an
is my
extremely
take.
average looking man. Some of you may argue lower, and that's fine. I'm not arguing that caring about your looks is pointless. I am arguing that it gets to a point where trying to maximize one's looks crosses a line from self improvement to unhealthy fixation. And I'm noticing this more and
Yes,
more with men. From surgery
especially like Clav. Clav is like telling kids they need surgery and they need to do crystal meth.
to substance abuse to incredibly toxic online discussion, the male beauty standard is morphing into a dangerous obsession where looks are viewed as the most important thing in life. Decades of telling women to be obsessed with beauty and then being mad that women are obsessed with beauty, now that's totally normal and okay. Now TikTok says men have to wash their face. I will not tolerate this! I'm a video essay commentary person, so this video is supposed to start with me talking about how the ancient beauty standard got developed and how the ancient Egyptians would use berries to make makeup, and that the modern beauty standard is based on Eurocentric ideals dating back as far as the 16th.
Yo, a lot of people don't know that makeup and nail polish, dresses, heels, anything else off the top of my head. Anyway, those four things were created with men in mind first. And then they kind of got swept into women, women products. I think because women are usually more insecure about their looks, and it's easy for bigger markets to sell these products to women because women are so they think about their looks way more than the typical man. Nowadays, with the whole looks maxing stuff, men are becoming very insecure with the way they think about their looks too. And that's partially because of social media and The harshness of the modern day woman. That that is a crazy take, but the modern day woman it is so harsh. Genuinely, they are not nice. They are not nice. And that's fine, I guess. I'm not upset at them being harsher towards men because men have not been the nicest to them. But I think that that is hurting the youth of the men and making them more self-conscious when when they see the harshness of women and how they treat unattractive men, right? Um, and men versus men. Men have been competing with each other at a base level for a while now, and a lot of men care what other men think. That's kind of weird. I've never been one to think like that.
I don't care. Is that stuff true? Yeah, probably. Is hearing all of that gonna explain all your insecurities away? Probably not. I'm not going to be using any 15-syllable words, nor am I going to be using the word nuance. Video essayists use it way too much. I barely know what it means, and I spell it like this every time.
Yeah, I know how to spell it, but I don't really know what it means. So I also will not be using this word. Yeah, this is how you spell it.
I'm not gonna sit here and explain what pretty is. Okay, we know. But also, I'm not gonna lie and say there's no pattern to beauty. Really, beauty is just a matter of your location and time period. Your culture and upbringing have a heavy influence on your interpretation of what it means to be pretty. When I was a young boy, I too wanted to be pretty. But as a child, I got all my beauty standards from the Disney Channel, and at that time, everybody on here was white. And for some reason, these were the coolest guys in town. And so
Genuinely, and they were like 30 playing 13-year-olds.
naturally, as a child, there were brief moments in time where I wanted to be white, just briefly. When I was a kid, I wanted silky smooth white boy hair, and I thought that the only reason I couldn't get it was that my barber was using some kind of voodoo to always make sure that my hair was a textured 4C. I figured if I got my hair wet enough and I used the child pair of scissors I got from Staples, I could make all my dreams come true. It didn't work. It just made me look dumb for 3 weeks, and my mother was not happy about that. Also, this isn't a picture of me, this is a
Yo.
stock image. What do you think,
Okay.
all black people look the same? Racist! But there is no universal definition of beauty, because
All
if there
right.
was, the beauty standard wouldn't change over time, but it does. And it appears to be getting more and more extreme. If you look back a few decades ago, people who were considered to be the prettiest in society were astonishingly normal looking. In the 50s, people were just rounder. Now being pretty means having so many sharp angles. And while this
The
may be
angles,
bad for
bro, the
them as
jaw
human
lines, the
beings or
contour
whatever,
lines
it's
in the
great for
cheeks.
shareholder value. Did you think of that? Insecure people are very profitable. When you're convinced that you're
Yes, I was talking about this. The insecurity of like women when it comes to their looks. Not that men are also insecure with their looks, but I've noticed that women in general tend to be more insecure than men. Is that a bad take? I'm not sure. Is it a bad take? I think that's like a real take. I think that's actually what's going on. Um, Not that men aren't insecure. We just because obviously like nowadays with BLACKPILL, it's kind of the forefront of it's being talked about more. I'll say that. So maybe we're all insecure at the same level and women just were talking about it earlier. I don't know. I'm uneducated. Leave me alone.
lacking in some way, it's very easy to sell you a solution that promises to fill that lack. It's like when Listerine basically said that bad breath is a disease and that their mouthwash is the cure, or when De Beers popularized diamond engagement rings. Because why would you invest in your future as a couple when you could buy her a shiny rock that costs 2 months' salary instead? Do you hate her? It's the same with beauty. If all you can think of is a feature of your appearance that you don't like, and I'm selling a product that promises to get rid of it, why wouldn't you buy it? But largely, this is a problem that has more affected women. I had to watch a lot of videos on the beauty standard and societal pressures
See?
to be beautiful, and every time I watched those
Maybe
videos,
I
it was
was onto
very obvious
something.
I was not the intended demographic. At the end of the day, what you look like is only a small part of you. Yeah, she's making some really good points. And you need to decenter men because you are a proud, fearless female woman with feminine energy inside and out.
Exactly. This is the part, the harshness of the modern day woman. This is what I'm talking about.
A man would never be caught dead watching a video like this. I feel like I'm not supposed to be here. Menstruation, am I right? But there's been increasing pressure for men to be beautiful, especially in the age of social media. All of us want to
Yes.
feel good
Oh
about.
my God. Dude. Pre-fire like it's Rainbow Six Siege, bro. I was doing this last video too. Everything that I start to talk about or bring analysis to, it end up getting talked about in the video. It's kind of peak.
How we look. But even more important than personal contentment with our appearance, the validation of strangers and mild acquaintances would also be nice. Posting on Instagram is the most stressful first world problem in my life. I spent 20 minutes trying to come up with the perfect arrangement of photos and then also
Right,
a
you have
clever
to make
caption,
sure
and then
they
I also
all
have to
look
pick a
good.
background song that's not too mainstream but also not too.
Yes, dude, I'm so bad at that. I'm like, yo, everybody knows this song. It's not niche enough. I need people to understand that my music is niche, bro. I'm special. Um, I'm a big LARPer. I LARP, I guess.
Indie that it becomes weird in a bad way. So I have to find the perfect medium, Malcolm Todd. Then I post it and lie to myself saying, I don't care what other people say. I just wanted to express this to the world. It's not about people's attention. I
Yeah. No, because yes, this is exactly how I think. Um, I don't know what you would label this as like narcissism. Is it narcissism? Is it like ego? Is it having an ego? Is it like just being an attention seeker? I don't know. I don't have the label for it. I just know that I'm a part of it.
am a purely beloved man and everyone adores me. And it feels like that for a few hours. And then later one of your homegirls posts and she's prettier than you. And then you look at the.
Yo, I hate when my posts they get like 30 likes, 2 comments. I look at one of my friends that are girls, 185 likes, 35 comments. I'm like, bro. She'll post a picture of a bagel. I put on this elaborate fit. I do my makeup, bro. I paint my nails a fresh coat. Yes, I do that. Yes, I think I'm cool. What are you gonna do? You gonna hate on me? I don't care. Genuinely. But I put all this work into like a super cool kind of Instagram post that's giving like this like emo ass vibe, right? It actually did decent analytically, like viewership wise, but it didn't get nearly enough traction as I thought. And that's come because I'm not popping. I'm not like a popping name yet. I wasn't very popular in high school, so my following while I was in high school wasn't very big. Um, so my follower count isn't high from high school still, because a lot of times what you see when posts are getting these kind of big like numbers or whatever on Instagram is it usually comes from the kids that had the big high school following or they were well liked while they were in high school so their follower numbers were higher. So outside of high school, they're still carrying this group of people. Well, I'm trying to cultivate a new following from this. If that makes any sense. It makes sense in my head.
Likes
I
that
might
she
have
gets, and you're
worded
like, oh,
something wrong.
never mind. How do you even know this many people? And
See? This is exactly what I'm talking about.
in addition, many guys have convinced themselves that they will never find love unless they reach unreal levels of attractiveness. So what are they to do? Well, they could accept themselves as they are and find other measures of being a worthwhile person. Or
Looksmaxxing. Are we looksmaxxing? When I was going into high school, I was insecure and stuff. I was like 4'11" in ninth grade. Um I started mewing, bro. Do you guys know what mewing is? Mewing is probably like the first step into looksmaxxing. And there's not a problem with mewing because mewing is what you're supposed to do naturally with your mouth. And to this day I mew, kind of. It's basically just tongue placement.
according to Merriam-Webster's slang dictionary, looksmaxxing is simply defined as efforts, sometimes
A bad habit that I do a lot of is the cheek biting. I'm a very bad cheek biter. I do it so subconsciously and to the point where it hurts sometimes.
extreme young men take to look more attractive. But that's putting it lightly. Looksmaxxing is more of an online community that doesn't have the best reputation. At its extremes, the community is associated with misogynistic ideologies and some dangerous propaganda, teaching things like looks are the only thing that truly matters and that being ugly is the worst thing you can be in life and that your life is meaningless unless you can find a way to be pretty. Also, a lot of them seem to be really interested in Patrick Bateman from American Psycho.
This is cornball. I get called corny because I'll paint my nails, but then they'll listen to fucking BLACKPILL edits and jerk off to Patrick Bateman.
Now, I've never seen it, but that movie's about a serial killer, right? He like
Yes.
murdered people until they were dead. Really, it's hard to imagine why someone would want to be anywhere near a group like this. Whoa! Who is this? Did Michelangelo carve him? He be my dad? What? There are some key players known in the Looksmaxxing community. There's John and Mike Mew, a father and son orthodontist pair known for popularizing mewing, which is a series of
Oh, I'm ahead of this video, bro. I should have just made the video. No, just kidding. This guy's doing great.
tongue and mouth exercises that's supposedly supposed to sharpen the jawline. There's Clavicular, who's known for using his body as an active science experiment in the never-ending quest to be as attractive as possible.
My whole regimen is as follows. For the gym, I'm taking testosterone every single day. I take minoxidil for my hair. I take dutasteride for my hair. I also take Accutane. I use crystal
Math. He takes math, amphetamines. But probably the most notable is Kareem Shami, considered by many to be the poster child
The most notable, I would say Clav is. Clav's the one on social media and Androgenic. They're the two that are like popping right now. I don't know who this guy is. I've never heard of this guy.
of TikTok's Looksmaxxer community. First things first, if they had to pick a leader, someone who would be preaching about how important it is to be looking good at all times, he's got the qualifications. Objectively, just well done, sir. Good for you. I think he summarizes the philosophy and ideology behind Looksmaxxing the best.
And why do guys care so much about their looks in 2025?
Because they have no choice but to do so. They're invisible amongst other guys that they're competing with. They're feeling this through the way they're being treated. What makes one guy better than the other guy if they both have the same personality and they both have money? What's gonna differentiate them from one another? What's something that's priceless and rare? Good genes and the dedication to maximize those genes.
From what I understand, Looksmaxxers consider themselves to be helping the facially challenged and men in general. But whereas
That guy
traditional
said a
methods of
bunch of
helping young people
nothing,
with their
by the
looks
way.
might involve telling them, you don't have to be insecure, there's nothing wrong with you. Looksmaxxers take a slightly different approach. Yeah, no, there's a lot of reasons for you to be insecure. I actually wrote them down in an easily accessible spreadsheet. You want it? It's like having insecurities on hard mode because it's a bunch of different names for different features you didn't even know you had. It's so many words. From simple terms like angularity, how sharp you look, to more niche measurements such as cervicomental angle. There's no way I said that right. That's the angle between the neck and the chin. And things you didn't even know could be measured, like palpebral fissure ratio, which is the height and width of the space between your open eyelids. And the measurements just keep going from there. You got eyebrow thickness, skin clarity, nasolabial folds, canthal tilt, zygomatic arch projection.
Dude, that pisses me off. That cheek shit. Because I have very high cheekbones, right? And I've always kind of had chubbier cheeks because of them. And they create these folds right here. And it makes my face look super bloated. I probably also do struggle with like face bloat. But that's something that pisses me off.
And like 40 other ones. But it's to help people. It's all for the good of. We're doing a good thing. They have tutorials and courses and TikToks and forums, which are mainly.
But I would never buy a course or do some stupid surgery or do anything to change this other than like eat healthier diet wise, maybe take like basic supplements, go to the gym, natural kind of betterment stuff. All of this is complete bullshit.
Comprised of a bunch of teenage boys who really are not good for each other. In Looksmaxxing, there are two genres. Softmaxing, which would include things like facial care, massages, eating well, going to the gym,
This
sleeping
stuff.
more, otherwise known as being a healthy human being. But for men,
Right.
and there's hard.
Ex I just brought Dude, this guy is listening to what I'm saying and then saying it and making it his content, dude.
Maxing, which includes cosmetic surgeries,
Just
drugs,
kidding.
expensive procedures. You see, Gen Z's approach to aging is very different from other generations. While older people would rather wait until they're already wrinkly before they start to look into Botox, Gen Z would rather risk nerve damage than look a day older than 17. Preventative measures are becoming increasingly common among plastic surgeons. The American Academy of Facial
Okay, random side note. Does anybody else hate the way Clav talks to women? Because that stuff pisses me off. Like, he is socially dumb. Like, he does not know how to talk to people. And he's very egotistical, and he's a huge prick. Dumb, egotistical prick. Three of the worst things, dude. Women eat that shit up, though. Women love that.
Plastic and reconstructive surgery reports that 75% of plastic surgeons have seen a spike in clients under the age of 30. And this is possibly one of the many factors contributing to why people on the internet are convinced that Gen Z is aging terribly. There were so many videos on it. Is it because there's some kind of dangerous chemical in the air that's making us age at a faster rate? I don't know, probably. But also, they keep sucking the fat out of their faces. There's a procedure that's grown in popularity over the past few years, buccal fat removal.
Buccal fat removal is essentially removing the fat from your cheeks, but more specifically, it is the surgical removal of the buccal fat pad that we naturally have between our cheekbones and our jawlines. The buccal fat reduction surgery aims to correct prominent or chubby cheek.
It's partially become so popular.
Like, see? That would get marketed towards me since I am kind of insecure at the fact that my cheeks are chubbier. Would I ever get a surgery to change it? No. 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 Not ever would I do that.
Because it's become more accessible than it ever has. Buccal fat removal can take as little as an hour and cost about $2,000 to get done.
$2,000. First of all, I have $30. Second of all, I'm not spending that so that my cheek fat is gone. Because genuinely, do not care enough. Yes, I don't really like the way that chubbier cheeks look, but it's it's to the point where it's like, um, we could use $2,000 way better than doing that.
which is a lot of money. But listen, that's one nice computer or one bad used car. It's within range. And I won't lie, I think it works for some people, but for others it reaches uncanny valley territory. But that's a rather small procedure. There are a lot more complicated and invasive procedures such as rhinoplasties, genioplasties, implants, leg lengthening surgeries. And these
Bro, my friends, they swear, they have said before that I need to get leg lengthening surgery to be like socially accepted or what? Because I'm 5'4", right? Not very tall. First of all, everyone that gets this surgery, their arms are still short, so they end up looking like Tyrannosaurus Rexes. It's silly, honestly. They break the shit out of your legs. You have to relearn how to walk, all for like social acceptability, dude. It's genuinely a bunch of nonsense. Also, that surgery is like $15,000.
things easily can cost tens of thousands of dollars. I guess my question is, what's the end goal here? If you have a rubric for any assignment, that's because hypothetically you could get 100% and get a perfect assignment. So if there are rating systems explaining objectively why you're ugly, it would make sense that there is some hypothetical peak of human looks. So what is the perfect face and why is it so sharp? Again, I don't think there's anything inherently wrong with wanting to look better, but I think it's weird when you stop making beauty an intuitive thing and instead a standardized system that if you don't line up to, you're less than, because I don't think that's healthy. And now some of you may argue that it's not that big a deal and you should just let people do what they want, okay? Counter argument. Bone smashing.
Bone smashing is amazing, but
What is that?
so it's where you're gonna punch yourself in the face, like, So I know it sounds crazy, but just bear with me here. So you're gonna brace your head and you punch yourself in the face.
Bone smashing is one of the stupidest things that I've ever heard of. When this first started popping off, genuinely, I'm like, this is dumb. I don't think anybody, does anybody actually do this? First of all, I'm pretty sure that it's already been said that this doesn't really do anything by like professionals,
You know how every 10 years society decides whether or not baggy jeans or skinny jeans are in and the other one is gross and should never be seen
right?
again?
I like both. I like both. You will see me in skinny jeans. Super skinny jeans. First of all, I make them work because I myself am very skinny. It works. Fat people should not be wearing skinny jeans. Sorry. It looks terrible on you guys. But I also like baggy jeans. Baggy jeans are tough. And then they had the super baggy jeans, like the barrel jeans. That's kind of overdoing it. But I have a pair that's super close between baggy and barrel, and they are super cool.
Local fat removal may be in now, but it's not gonna be forever. And by the time it falls out of fashion, you're gonna end up looking worse than when you started. The problem with the procedure is one of the things that people try and look for when identifying a young person is fat in the face. A plump, taut face is a young person's face. So a hollow face might be considered attractive now, but it's always been considered elderly. And that's because as you age, the fat in your face naturally deteriorates and leaves you with that hollowed out look. So if you strip the fat out of the face when you're already already young. By the time you get old, you're just gonna look worse, and by then, it's far too late to change anything.
What's different about fashion, you can put on a different shirt. You can't exactly reverse these surgical procedures. So let's
See? Yo, ladies, I got some fat ass cheeks, bro. You know what that means, bro? I'm gonna be looking like Clav when I'm 30, 40. And Clav is gonna look like the grandma from SpongeBob, bro.
just say you had the buccal fat removal, 10 years have gone by and you're not happy with
You're
how
saying
hollowed out you look. And you're like, okay, I want to get a fat transfer or I want to get some filler. So any changes that you make into the cheek area is always going to be into the more superficial compartment. So it's never going to look quite the same.
But really, any facial procedure or makeup or routine that's meant for old people is just gonna make you look like an old person. Remember that guy we were talking about earlier that casually does math? He loves numbers. Yeah, he's 20. This
this is a terrible picture if we're going on black pill. First of all, nose is slightly deviated. First of all, this is not symmetrical at all. He has this weird kind of like curve on this side, and on this side, it seems to be straight. You see that? We see here, this eyebrow. Yeah, okay.
guy is a year younger than me. So it's particularly concerning that a lot of Looksmaxxers are a bunch of teenage boys who are still changing in their appearance, and while that's happening, they're sticking needles and products in and on their face. Like, bro, your face hasn't even finished loading yet. Give it a minute. But beyond the aesthetics, I
That
think there's a
ass.
much bigger mental health concern. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why would staring at myself for several hours a day in the mirror looking for microscopic flaws in my appearance put me at greater risk for developing a disorder where I'm obsessed with my appearance? That doesn't make any sense. I did everything right. It really annoys me when models and other obviously pretty people have insecurities and think that they're ugly.
Some days you can feel like truly so conceited and obnoxiously confident, and then all it takes is like someone saying one thing that just strikes a chord in you to be like, I'm actually the ugliest person to ever exist.
Because if you're ugly,
It's just
what do you think
natural,
I
dude.
am? Dog?
It's natural. It's like a human natural thing. I think Sabrina Carpenter, when in that clip, that is natural. I think for almost everyone. I think everyone has their I look good days, right? Where they think that they look great as hell. You know, they're popping their little thirst trap pics or whatever. And then there's some days you're like, God damn, I'm literally a chud.
Water? But then you think about how if your job was to look pretty at all times, then having insecurities has to be amplified to like 10. And unlike skills or talent, looks are pretty much determined at birth, and there's very little you can do to change it unless we go into extreme territory. It's not about reaching a goal, it's about staring at an unattainable standard. And while it might not be the same thing, there's probably a similar psychology for a 15-year-old boy who keeps watching TikTok edits of two dudes who have millions of views.
This is weird. The guys that like and repost black pill edits.
And the only reason it seems to be
No, okay. I say this. If you go to my TikTok and you look at my reposts, there's black pill edits reposted. I reposted those ironically, okay? I swear. Um, yeah, I just like caught myself in a very hypocritical moment, so I had to call myself out on that. But that I reposted it as a joke. I repost a lot of things on my TikTok page as a joke.
so, it's because they're both attractive and there's funk music playing in the background. But at least the models are getting paid to develop an eating disorder. You're just doing it for free. On top of that, there has to
Right.
be a line before
I used
taking
to have an
pride in
eating
your appearance.
disorder. I used to weigh 110 pounds, and I didn't eat food for like a month straight, and I would only drink water. And I dropped like 30, 40 pounds in a month and a half.
starts to cross into ethical concern territory. It's the ship of Theseus. At what point do you keep changing parts of your appearance until you no longer are you? Because it's one thing to wash your face and try different haircuts and glasses and other accessories and to see what kind of styles you like, but to change something that you're born with, that's natural to your face, removing fat, adding fat, reconstructing things, you're losing yourself. Now, I have a friend who considers herself to be dark skinned, and she was telling me about a friend of hers who was considering using skin lightening cream. And as she was telling me this, I was sitting there like, something's not quite white here, but I can't quite put my finger on it. And later that night, I called her and I asked her, are you thinking about using the cream? And she was like, yeah. And it threw me off because I thought that was weird, because if she did that, it wouldn't be her. In my head, it wasn't about whether she would look better or worse or the racial implications of that, which I didn't want to get into. It was really just about, it wouldn't look like you. I want my friend to look like my friend. There's nothing wrong with you. I don't think you should do that. So I told her that, and she decided not to. So I'm basically a hero and an advocate for women. It was so weird, you know, in that moment I became 6'4" and a Colleen Hoover book just materialized into my hand. It was
Yes,
crazy. I
bro.
think when you make drastic,
Dude,
permanent
yes.
changes to your appearance, your face
Yes.
now becomes a
Way to go, dude. No, he does deserve props for that. I think we honestly should be writing his name in feminine literature, um, for like an entire segment on men helping the feminist movement. I think there should be a little section in a book somewhere about that.
monument.
And I would like my name to be in that book too. So if you're a woman, uh, help me become a feminist.
To the insecurities you let
Not that I'm not already.
control you. Chad is not the only way to be pretty, because when you act like he is, you have a bunch of people who didn't start out looking anything alike, but because they all did the same procedures from the same doctors and the same TikTok videos, they all start to homogenize into the same looking humanoid.
What is going on here? This is awful. You don't, this is like Uncanny Valley. Also, this
You don't
haircut.
all have to look the same. There is beauty in
Sorry, that was
diversity.
kind of mean.
Oh, yes, of course, please, do clap. Yes, I'm a hero. This is like when a comedian states a basic fact of morality and gets a standing ovation. Yes, cheer me! In making this video, I've been staring at a lot of perfect faces, and I'm tired. Can we bring the pudgy people back? It's not appealing that all these people look the same. They all look the same. It's like going to a museum and every single painting and portrait has exactly the same style. This isn't fun. It's not just that. Really, it's knowing that this was an active choice. Like, you paid to look this way. That's
You ever heard of the phrase iPhone face? It's kind of a phrase used for like the modern generation, like later millennials and Gen Z, and eventually probably Gen Alpha would be. Well, they might be like the late or the early Gen Alpha, I guess it would be. It's like everyone's face looks exactly the same or whatever. Like if you go on Pinterest and search off like iPhone face or something, I guarantee you'll get exactly what I'm talking about. Also, not very well educated on that. I just know the phrase and have seen like a couple photos of it. So,
not cool. It's like when you accidentally like a mainstream pop song and now I feel like an average consumer. What's next? My favorite soda is Coca-Cola. I drive a Toyota Corolla. My chances of dying due to gun violence are alarmingly high. But even if there were no major physical, health, or ethical concerns, this mindset, it's just kind of lame. The competitiveness of the Looksmaxxing community is very addictive. I was reading this article of a guy who got rated by a Looksmaxxer. I just remember reading the article and thinking to myself, I'm more attractive than this guy, right? Oh my. And I realized what I was doing and I put myself in timeout. It's gotta be.
I do that all the time and I kind of feel like shit every time I do it. Um, Genuinely because why do we do that? I do that with like I don't really do that in the way that he does that. I do it with the way I see like a girl, and then I see that she has a boyfriend, and then I'm like, I like look better than her boyfriend though. And then I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? And it's probably not even true, bro. I'm just like delusional. We're delusion maxing, bro.
some kind of disease to constantly be comparing your facial features to other people. Dr. Stuart Murray,
Right.
director of the Eating Disorders Program at the University of Southern California, once said, "If you're diluting yourself down to a number or a skin tone or an angular tilt of your face, it reduces your value as a person." And playing this game of trying to max out your numbers to gain XP, extra validation points, whatever you want to call it, this isn't gonna make you happy. Then again, this was never about happiness. It was about obsession. I have to do this, and I can't focus on anything else until it's done. I have to defeat the final boss. This is the only thing that matters.
There's a lot of factors. Looking good will impact your life on every single level. When you're constantly scrolling on your For You page and you're seeing these people that are getting careers out of nowhere for the way that they look, or they're getting respect, a higher pay, better academics, opportunities, all of that seems to stem from one thing, and it's looks.
This guy is a cornball and wrong and genuinely is saying nothing. I don't like this guy. What is he talking about?
Looks can change the quality of your life. It's night and day.
Is there merit to what he
The only aspect I could really think looks matters that much is if you're going into certain professions, um, like modeling, obviously, and women. You might get laid more if you are way more attractive, right?
he's saying, maybe. I mean, the halo effect, it is a thing. People do treat you better if you appear to be better in your looks or your dressing or whatever it may be. There is some societal advantage, but I think that advantage is getting over exaggerated. For example, a lot of guys think that
Exactly. Over exaggerated. They're making it a way bigger deal than it really is.
they can never find love unless they look drop dead gorgeous. Yeah, I don't think it's crazy to say that looks are important to make a first impression. But again, first impressions is just getting your foot in the door. Your personality is what keeps you in the room. I can't tell you how many times I thought I was in love with someone because they said one thing that vibed with me perfectly. Yeah, I think Jacob Collier gets a lot of hate for no reason. He's a great artist. Huh? My sisters will tell you, every time I had a crush growing up and I would show them a picture of the girl, they would be more than happy to tell me that she was very mid.
Every single time. My friends do this to everyone in the friend group, to be honest. Um, I'll talk to a girl, blah blah blah. Second I show them a picture of this girl, yo, she's chop, she's mid, blah blah blah, bro, she's fat. I'm like, genuinely, dude, what are you doing? Like, how do you benefit from this at all in the slightest? And it's not just me, it's my other friends on my other friends and stuff. This is probably very common in most male-centered groups. I think it's a competition thing because I don't know. Anyway, I understand the point he's making here, and it's happened to me so many times. I don't think any girl I've ever talked to, second I show the picture, she's chopped. I've never once talked to a chopped girl. I will say that again. I've never once talked to a chopped girl. Not one time. Not one time. I only talk to pretty girls. What are you doing? Like, what are we thinking when we're saying this? Sorry, I got heated. Back to the video. Lock in.
Their words, not mine. And then I'd have to hit them with, she's very gorgeous to me! But even if we were
I've hit him with that a couple times, not gonna lie.
to suppose that your appearance was the most important thing about you, and it is the number one factor that's going to influence your overall quality of life, there are so many more things we can do to influence it that involve almost no needles. Well, maybe a few needles, sewing needles. Look, here's what we're gonna do. I'm convinced that unless you have 100 pounds of fat to lose, or you start going into the hard maxing territory with surgeries and intense procedures and routines, the maximum you can increase your looks is about like 25%. At the end of the day, you're gonna look basically the way you look now, with one thing different. It's like when you buy like a facial cleanser or something and you think it's gonna change your bone structure. No, it's just gonna give you slightly less oily skin. You're pretty much always gonna look like you. So I don't think it's worth the extra mental effort and stress to absolutely maximize that hypothetical potential. So I think it's a better investment to do basic facial maintenance and then focus on all the other parts of appearance and first impressions that don't have to do with simply your physical looks. When you look at a person and you look at how they style their hair, or what accessories they're wearing, or what clothes they're wearing, where they got them from, how old the clothes are, how well they fit, all of these things tell a story about the person. These people here lead very different lives, and you know that just by how they're dressed. You can maybe guess what they do for fun, what they do for work, what stage of life they're in. Their clothes aren't just clothes, they're telling a story. Fashion isn't just about clothing yourself or picking the most expensive thing off the rack. If you do it well enough, it can really be its own art form.
Don't you know that you were
I agree completely. I love clothes. I've spent a lot on clothes the past year. Too much on clothes. But I was kind of finding out who I was and stuff. Um, Generally, I love clothes, and I do want to start a clothing brand and sell. I've been working on that. I've had to take a brief pause. I'm in a very what's it called when you're between heaven and like hell or whatever? I'm like right there right now. I don't know the right word. Anyway, back to the video because I'm rambling.
working at the place that published some of the greatest artists of the century, Halston, Lagerfeld, De La Renta, and what they did, what they created, was greater than art. Because you live your life in it.
That being said, most people consider fashion to be more of a feminine interest, which kind of makes sense because there's a lot.
Dude, second I started getting into clothes, second I started messing with fashion and stuff, I got called all sorts of stuff. I got called femboy, I got called gay, I got called I don't know, femboy. I don't know if I said that. Feminine. Yeah, I painted my nails. Yeah, I put on makeup, dude. Yeah, I love pink. Pink is my favorite color, dude. I don't care, bro. It's tough. I think it's all about expression, and I don't think we should be putting feminine labels on expressing anything because for so long it's been like that, I guess, where women are the ones expressing themselves and men are like, you know, um hiding behind like this masculine bias. Nowadays, it's starting to change. You look at a lot of the crazy like underground rappers like Nine Vicious, dude. Nine Vicious saying he's a bad bitch, right? Getting his edges laid, right? Normally feminine things, painting his nails. Um, it's bridging a gap between a divide, and I think it needs to be done. Um, because expression is how you build authenticity. And there's nothing that the world doesn't need more than authenticity. If you are not your authentic self, very, very on topic with this video because these Looksmaxxers and these people that swallowed the black pill, they are not authentically themselves at all.
lot more options for dressing for women than compared to men. But even with a limited selection, men's clothing can still be creative. And yet, most men don't try very hard at all with their outfits, which is interesting because throughout history, that wasn't always the case. If you look back through different cultures, men's
Look at these swag demons, dude. We need to go back to this. Look at this. This is some aura. The only people that really be wearing kimonos now is like fat white Discord mods, though. But I don't think we need to go back to like kimonos or something. First of all, this is a cultural dress piece for Japanese culture, so I wouldn't wear this, right? But like obviously fashion trends change, but we need to get out of the basics and we need to get more into the extremes. Hot fashion take.
clothing was a lot more intricate and had a lot more colors and more silhouettes and was just more interesting to look at. Even 100
Love
years
it.
ago, when men's high fashion was essentially just wearing a black suit, it was still more
Even
interesting than
that,
what you find
yes.
today. I was at the Smith
I hate I hate the motherfuckers. They'll throw on like a gray t-shirt and like a pair of shorts, and then some Nike shoes, some Nike socks, and they think they got like a tough fit and they think they're cool as hell. No, no, your fashion's actually whack. You look like everyone else. Fashion is meant to make you stand out.
Smithsonian Portrait Gallery the other day, and I was walking through all the portraits of the presidents, and again, they were all wearing black suits, but they were really nice suits.
Wow.
Look at him.
Perfect.
Is that a suit cape? Is that a thing? That's just beautiful. Yeah. Wait, wasn't he racist? So what happened to men's fashion? There are a few ideas out there. Here's one that I found that I think makes sense. In the 18th century, I guess being rich was like super boring, and the only way to feel something when you own more dollars than there are seconds in a decade is to wear completely unnecessary and outrageous outfits. I don't do any hard labor in any part of my life. I wear 3-foot wigs, long capes, and leggings, man. It took me 9 hours to put this on. I have so much free time. Like, look at this guy. Poor people don't smile like that. But then at some point, the peasants got mad at all the rich people and became a bunch of French Patrick Bavens. And so to look extravagantly rich probably wasn't the best idea anymore. So men overall started to dress more like the everyman, which even by today's standards is still pretty dripped out. There was also influences from the Age of Enlightenment and from the Industrial Revolution, where clothes became more functional instead of fashionable. Yada yada yada. The point is, you're gonna live your life without enjoying the simple pleasure of being one of the best dressed people in the room? And why? Because the French said you can't? The moral of the story isn't to start dressing like this because, again, this was all based on showing off excess wealth, and of course, this looks ridiculous, but would it kill you to wear a blazer every now and then? When you dress better, you feel better, you carry yourself a different way. These are things that are subtly noticed by other people, and frankly, even if they're not, you'll notice the difference. Once
Even if it is streetwear, because that's what I dabble into for the most part. I do have other stuff. Wearing that like crazy streetwear fit, it's tough, it's hard, especially if you're kind of into that aesthetic and you're into that space as a person. Um, you're gonna get noticed a lot more wearing some crazy streetwear clothes than if you're wearing, like I said, a t-shirt, some shorts, and a Nike uh pair
you
of
find the
shoes,
perfect pair of pants, it will
like
change you.
some
And if you don't agree with
like some Jordan ones or
that
something.
statement, you have never worn pants properly a day in your life. The first day I found pants that fit so good I didn't need a belt,
I I have like two pairs like that. I still wear belts because I like wearing belts because I think belts are stylish.
I cried. Plus, looks are mostly genetic, but style is a skill. No matter who you are, you can develop a sense of fashion. As a guy, it really isn't that hard to be the best dressed man in the room because a lot of times the other guys aren't even trying. I've been complimented for my outfits at school a number of times, and it's not because I'm wearing anything crazy, it's because 90% of engineering majors dress like this on a daily basis.
This is exactly what I'm talking about. It's white people, dude. It has always been white people. Except this guy might be Asian. I can't really tell because he's looking down. I can't like, you know. Anyway, but this is not swag, dude. What are we doing? He's got a beanie in his hand. Shark tooth necklace. Oh, this is disgusting. And this is like his dad. You know it's bad when you look like your dad, okay? You should not be looking like your dad. You should not be dressing like your dad at your age.
It's not that hard to win the marathon when half the competition is asleep at the starting line. To be clear, I would never consider myself to be an authority on this. I'm not nearly at that level. In my humble opinion, if you were trying to up your style and overall appearance, here's what I'd start with.
Yeah, I'm sorry. This video is perfect. We're gonna get into fashion now.
Alright, I have to put this disclaimer out there before we start. You're awesome. And these are just my personal opinions. You don't have to do
Dude,
anything I say.
I have these pants. They are brown corduroy. They're Tommy Hilfiger. They are very similar to that, like the corduroy. They are women's jeans. Do I still wear them? Yes.
You do you, King. Alright, cool. Now that I've said the magic words, if you can't grow a beard, stop whatever this is. Cut it out.
Okay, I agree. But I also kind of disagree because of the current state that I'm in. Right now, my mustache is very, very bad. It is because not even a full month ago, I shaved it completely off. But it does grow thick. It's just a slower process. But if I'm constantly shaving it, I don't think it'll grow back faster, right? I think it grows back thicker. I don't think it grows back faster. Maybe it's the other way around. I don't know. But I agree. If like my cheeks, I shave them because it's scraggle, right? Right now I got a bit of a 5 o'clock shadow, but second it starts to even appear kind of scraggly or like this. Also, what is this? That's bad. This is even worse.
Move it, admit defeat, and move on with your life. We can all see that whatever this is isn't working and it's embarrassing. Next, you gotta learn how to buy good clothes. Oh, but I don't have that much money. Good, we like a challenge, don't we? Expensive clothes doesn't mean good clothes. And if you own anything that's covered in logos, burn it. You're
Oh, yeah, these three, no. I would say
gonna
no.
download Pinterest, go on it for 9 hours.
I'm a big Pinterest guy.
Or see what you like, then go to your nearest thrift store and try and recreate everything you saved. Set aside an afternoon, get a tape measure, learn your sizes, and my god, son, get some pants that fit.
Hello. If you can't dress well cheaply, then you can't dress well at all. And today, we're doubling down. This past weekend, I went home thrifting in Connecticut. So now let's make an
I love thrifting. That's how I got those corduroy pants. That's how I got my cropped puffer jacket. That's how I got couple hoodies that I own. That's how I got a jersey that I own. That's how I got a couple hats. One time I found a True Religion puffer jacket thrifting, and I was telling my brother to get it, but he refused to get it, and I couldn't get it at the time. And I ended up just leaving it there, and upset at that.
Entire outfit for less than $50.
These are some videos I would watch if I were building my wardrobe and style from scratch. And the difference between doing all of this and chewing on plastic to get a sharper jawline is, one, this will actually work. Second, it's a form of self-expression. And lastly, putting effort into the things you're wearing shows a silent self-respect. And people can sense it, trust me. There are few compliments that feel better than somebody acknowledging that you have good style. Yeah, I have a Pinterest board. You know, you dress like you do. Huh? Alright, next up, wash your face. I won't lie, my skincare routine is a bit overkill, but you just need three things: a cleanser, a moisturizer, and a sunscreen. So do that, eat healthy enough, go to sleep, and start exercising if you don't already. I know, you might think going to the gym is scary and intimidating, but it's really not all that weird. Do I need a personal trainer? Do I need a meal plan? Do I need to bring my own tripod, or will one be provided for me? Do I have to join one of those Zumba classes for 45-year-old women in the middle of the workday? No. Watch 2 Jeff Nippard videos and you'll be fine. Getting into shape is not complicated. It's just you have to do something that's simple and hard for a long time. Lastly,
I'm terrible at discipline, dude. Um, I procrastinate very bad. I'm trying to work on that. That's where I'm at with the gym. Bad discipline, bad procrastination. I know what to do in the gym. I have certain stuff like creatine and collagen peptides for recovery, and it actually helps with your skin a lot. So I guess it's skincare too. But yeah, discipline, constantly going every single day. I struggle with that.
you might want to
Can I
look into getting a
react to
fridge, but I'm not the
Osama-san?
guy to be asking about that. I just went
Yeah,
on Amazon,
I
searched
I'll
cologne, and
do
bought
I'll
it
do
first
an
thing that came out. Also, I don't
Osama-san.
take fragrances
Like,
seriously
I
because
love
all the commercials are
Osama-san,
stupid
first
and
of
every
all. Osama-san is, I think, at the top of the underground right now. I seen him at Rolling Loud, and I really do like Osama-san. He had a crazy set at Rolling Loud, and the pits were crazy as well. But yeah, if you want me to react to him, I'm gonna finish this video, and then you can send me some songs, and I'll react to them.
time I see the words "eau de toilette," I always read it as "ew, the toilet." But there are some guys that'll argue that looking good in clothes is mostly about the physique. You know, you gotta get the big arms, the big chest, all the perfect muscles. It's not gonna look good unless you have muscles. Then get the muscles, bro. Oh, but not everybody
Right,
can do it because
right.
you have to have the genetics and
Dude, my friends, they bring that. I'm kind of a skinnier guy, right? And they're like, yo, you need to put muscle on your physique because you're kind of like skinny fat, right? There's not that muscle. Um, I used to be into the gym and I used to be well disciplined. I don't really know what happened. At graduated from high school, can't really get back into being disciplined enough to go to the gym for more than like a month, dude. It's bad. Really need to lock in. Really need to lock in. Um, but I also think that my physique is healthier than, like, if I was big, if I weighed like 220 pounds, I feel like I would be more disciplined to get into the gym because I'm at an unhealthy weight. That's just my opinion. I feel like if I was bigger, because I used to be bigger, not quite 200 pounds, obviously, that would look ridiculous on my frame. But I was way more disciplined. Maybe that's where the problem lays, is that I am a healthy weight.
Thousands of people are disabled, and also I read a study that said that I care for a family of 16, so it doesn't time it. Okay, that's fine. Okay, I don't care. I don't think you need the perfect body to look
I
good in
don't know
clothes.
what
But
that
even if you
was.
do, cool. You win. Now what? What do you want to happen here? You're looking for reasons to believe that you can never look good and that life is stacked up against you and the world is not fair and you're just meant to be miserable. Okay, great. So, what are we talking about then? Be happy or don't. But if you're not going to, don't act like it's other people's fault. I didn't do this. You can still wash your face, smell nice, treat people well, learn
Exact.
to be.
Oh my God, smelling nice. That is one of the things that I focus on a lot as well. I'm a huge cologne guy. Um, I have a little small collection. I'm not like big. I'm not dropping thousands of dollars on cologne, but yeah, I have a decent cologne selection. I would say like 200.
Funny and find pants that fit even if you're not in shape. They make pants
Way more than 200. I forget how expensive cologne is. It's probably like 400.
in so many different sizes. But if you wake up every day and think that you're just cursed to always be miserable, then I guess you're right. That's such a weird way to live life. You're not a Disney character. Get a grip, man. When was the last time you saw a rainbow or natural sunlight for more than 30 minutes? There are more productive things we can be doing with our lives than convincing ourselves that we were never meant to enjoy it. Nobody wins here. But even if you were to put in the work to get jacked, you couldn't just sit there waiting for the day you were finally fit before you started caring for yourself. You would need to do that the whole time because getting in really good shape takes a long time, years.
Yes. And no, not with me, usually. It would take me, I would say, 5 to 6 months to be full, like in well shape. I build muscle incredibly quick, and it shows incredibly quick on my frame because I am a skinnier guy right now with a short, compact frame, standing at about 5'4", 125 pounds. It would take me about half a year to be lean and ripped, I think. Now, the strength part, um, yeah, it would take me a minute, but in my prime, I was benching about 210 pounds as my max. Yeah, 210 pounds was my max. Every time I say that, people lie. They think I'm lying. I'm dead ass not lying. I was repping 195, which was weird because people were saying you shouldn't be able to be repping 195 for 10 reps and your max be 210. But that was exactly the case. I don't know. Very weird.
We're going to the gym.
Also, I worked out at two different gyms. I had two different like at one gym I performed way better for some reason than the other
For
gym.
3 years. You couldn't tell? Yeah, I know. I'm still working on it. Shut up. And you can't just be miserable that whole time. You have to start taking care of yourself as part of the transformation. So even though you don't have the perfect body yet, you still need to be doing things like washing your face, finding a shampoo that doesn't also triple as conditioner, motor oil, and shower cleaner. And don't make me say it again. Find some pants that fit. Yet, despite all of this, it still might be hard for some to accept that they don't have to be mad that they're mid in the face. If you listen to some of the podcasts, read the forums, or watch the videos, I don't recommend it. But if you did, you may notice that after a while, it seems that these guys are almost looking for reasons to be upset. It's almost as if they want to believe there's no hope unless they change their looks. But why would a person want to stay miserable when they could just be happy instead? Psychology Today provided a number of reasons as to why a miserable person would want to stay miserable. So, for example, deep-rooted insecurity or lack of self-esteem may cause some people to feel undeserving of happiness. Or people who grew up with a parenting style characterized by excessive discipline and unrealistic expectations may have learned to equate unhappiness with love and success. It also mentions things about how a person might pride themselves on realism, believing that being practical also means focusing on the negative, fearing that positive feelings might be a setup for disappointment, and there's a few others. Misery just feels like it has much more depth than happier emotions. Think of all those tropes of the troubled artist or the misunderstood bad boy. They're so cool. Danish philosopher Soren Kierkegaard? My fault. He once wrote, "In addition to my other numerous acquaintances, I have one more intimate confidant. My depression is the most faithful mistress I have known. No wonder, then, I return the love." Unfortunately, yeah, that's a bar. And do you think he could have written that if he was happy?
Sorry, he's using big words. I'm trying to understand what he's saying. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Unfortunately, yeah, that's a bar. And do you think he could have
I
written
still
that if
don't
he
know
was
what he's
happy? I don't
talking
think
about.
so.
I'm not
Is
gonna
it
larf
bad
like
that
I
he
know.
was depressed? Sure. But my Instagram story highlights aren't going to be complaining when I steal that quote. So really, you take your good with your bad. When I was a teenager, I wanted to be a depressed artist so badly. There was a
Oh
phase in
yeah.
middle school where I would write poems about
Okay,
how badly
yes.
I felt I was treated, and then when I was in the cafeteria with my friends, I would put my head down, leave the poem in front of me, and then I would wait for them to read it and then feel bad for me,
Yo, that's
and they would see like
crazy.
how angsty I was. And
Yeah, but that's yeah. I've done similar stuff, I think. Instagram
sad.
notes,
I mean, I
bro.
had
I'm an
reason to
Instagram
be
note
sad, kind
demon.
of. I mean, I didn't have many friends. I was overweight. I smelled bad. But most of those things were things I could have fixed. Yeah, but that sounds like a lot of work. I'll be happy later. It's what I said for the next 5 years.
Calling me out a little bit there. That's exactly how I think sometimes. Not quite to the same magnitude. But yeah.
But you get addicted to this feeling of being sad, and it gives you this really weird superiority complex. Being happy is for simple minded fools who have nothing to ponder over on a daily basis. I'm different. I'm an intellectual. I am burdened on the inside. You don't know my pains. When I was in 7th grade, I was once gifted a stick of deodorant from a friend, and they weren't even being mean. They were just genuinely concerned and wanted to.
That's bad, bro. That's bad. When your homie hands you like deodorant and tells you like, yo, you need to put on deodorant. That's bad. That means you stink, dude. Um, yeah. I have this one friend who would just refuse to put on deodorant for some reason. I remember we were at Six Flags and we were standing in line, and I'm like upset that he is refusing to put on deodorant because he stank, right? Um, so I began shouting that you need deodorant and here's deodorant and was handing him deodorant and he was refusing it. Now that I'm looking back, that was really mean to do, but it was also kind of funny at the time.
Help.
Hmm. Yeah. I've never once been told that I've smelled bad. I've always been told that I smell good. And I go all out when it comes to smelling good, to be honest. I have crazy good body wash, crazy good deodorant, crazy good cologne. My clothes always smell good. Those Downy Unstoppables and the dryer sheets, bro. The one with a little bear on them. Make your clothes smell so good.
Yeah, but that's fine. You think to yourself, when bad experiences like that happen, there was some sort of reason for it that kind of justifies it and actually makes it a good thing. Especially when you're a creative. You save bad experiences and you hope that they can be implemented into your art in some way. Every bad thing that happens to me nowadays is essentially just a joke for a video waiting to be made. So honestly, I can't lose. I've been sitting on that deodorant thing for the past 8 years. But it's fine because I just used it as a joke in a video and we were laughing at it, so it's totally fine and okay that I had that experience. It's totally cool that I had such a tender experience at such a crucial age for mental and emotional development. It's totally fine. As Ali Sunvia once said while quoting a different guy.
In his book, Man's Search for Meaning, he writes, "In some way, suffering ceases to be suffering at the moment it finds a meaning, such as the meaning of sacrifice. That is why man is even ready to suffer, on the condition, to be sure, that his suffering has a meaning."
But that doesn't make suffering.
Yo, can you react to my edit, please? Yeah, for sure. We're gonna finish this video first. It's called Bro, I Think Me and You Are Ugly, but then I will for sure react to it. We got about 5 minutes left, and then I'll get right into that.
Good. Just because there was a reason for it doesn't mean that it was right that you had to suffer that. You could have been happy. And happiness isn't weak or shallow or lame. It's nice. Why shouldn't you strive to be happy?
Sometimes I can't help but wonder, what would my preteen years have been like if I didn't go out of my
Yo,
way to induce sadness?
What good does it
right. So like I kind of made myself this like in high school especially. I don't know much about my preteen years to be honest. I was kind of just a normal guy, I guess, normal kid. Um, but in high school, I had this great shift. I started smoking weed, right? Um, I became this pothead archetype, bro. Had super long hair, super quiet, always high, and very dopey, very dumb. That was kind of me in high school. Uh, and I was very upset all the time. Yeah, no shit. I'm literally causing my own downfall. I had a wicked blow up after high school, and we're back. We're up. We're up.
do you to believe that the world is against you because of your looks? Because even if you're right and your suffering has meaning now, you're still suffering. Is that fun for you? Is it worth it? I get it. Misery means you're a
No,
victim and you don't have to try, and
right?
that's so.
But I still act angsty, and I still act emo. Um, I don't know. That's just kind of my characteristic. I've always been told my voice is like super monotone. It doesn't carry a lot of emotion very well. This is just the way I talk, to be honest. Um,
So much easier because now I can pin the blame on everyone else. This is your fault. Besides, happiness is a temporary feeling and it can be terrifying. I read somewhere earlier this week that if you build your entire personality around being miserable, finally being happy can feel like you're losing yourself. But maybe that's a good thing.
yeah, I didn't really think I was losing myself. I feel like I felt like I was evolving because I went from this plateaued level during high school to a steep, very sharp incline to a very sharp drop to a very slow incline to another very sharp drop. Right now, I'm at this very sharp drop, but we're working on going back up, dude. Don't even worry. It's like stock markets. Um, that's the way I would say. But I feel like I'm literally a Pokemon, dude. Yo, thanks for the follow, dude. Yo, what's going on? Anyway, when it comes to like your levels in your life, I feel like with the downs, I think we need to focus more about how we are changing as people along the path line of our lives. As we get older, obviously we are supposed to mature and change the way we think. Um, so even though I'm like on a downwards from where I was not even 2 months ago, I feel like there's still so much to evolve past.
this video to say looks don't matter at all and we should be doing nothing to try and make ourselves look better. Nor am I saying I would never try some of the safe Looksmaxxing tips I found while researching this video, things like skincare and workout routines, and I don't know, people say mewing works. I don't know that the science really does, but maybe, I don't know. I'm not
Dude,
saying that, because at the end
I
of the day,
mew, bro. I
look at
think
these
mewing
guys.
works.
They look great. My point is there's too much emphasis on the external without much work being done to make sure the internal matches. Every time I do my unnecessarily long skincare routine and I'm staring at myself in the
Yeah,
mirror for
my
a couple of minutes,
skincare
I'm thinking,
routine is
did I
like
put
20
this much effort
minutes.
into trying to become a better person today? If I'm gonna put all this effort into
Right.
trying to make my face look pretty, even though, again, it's not really doing all that much, am I investing an equal or greater amount of time to try and change who I am for the better, which is going to do a lot more for me in the long run? You want to know
See,
what's...
that's what I focused on for the most part. I did get better looking than me in the past. I'm nowhere like not the best looking guy, obviously. But I did get better looking, but I feel like that's just a part of getting older as well. But I focused more on me as a person because in high school I was not known as a very good person. I did a lot of character development and evolving that way. I never fell into the pill circle.
sucks? This hasn't fixed me. Usually I'll make a video and then at least for a few weeks I'll be a better person. I don't need a relationship. I'm only gonna listen to music at low volumes. I'm not gonna procrastinate on my homework anymore. And then I'll go back to eventually wondering if I'll ever find love while blasting Malcolm Todd at max volume, knowing that I have a homework assignment due in the next 2 hours and I don't care. But at least for those topics, I changed a little. But I'm still actively comparing and rating people in my head and staring at myself in the mirror and making sure that everything looks right, even though there's nothing I can do to really change it overall. I know it's wrong, but it's second nature and it's gonna take a while until I can fully turn that part of my brain off. Something I'm trying to ingrain in my head in the meantime is that people's approval is about as valuable as a chocolate bar. I like chocolate bars. Would I sacrifice everything I am and spend all my time and effort
Right.
just to
I
get a
never really
chocolate bar?
cared what people think
No. It
about
feels
me.
good to be acknowledged by
I
people.
learned
Are you
that
listening to
after
me,
high
David?
school
I
too.
deserve better than this. I'm sick of this, Catherine. It's every day with you. For once in my life, I would like to just come home to a little bit of
What
peace
is this
and quiet.
skit,
Is that so
bro?
much to ask? Sometimes I forget why I ever married a woman like you. Wow, those pants look great. Did you thrift those? Oh yeah, that's why. Yeah, they're Goodwill. But there are more important things in life, and I don't want to compare myself with other people
Okay.
anymore. Because if I'm
That was a
saying that I'm better
good
than someone,
skit.
that means that there is someone who is better than me. And I don't want to live like that anymore. There are a lot more interesting ways to impress people. Case in point, I still don't get juggling. How do people do that? If I had to end this video with some cheesy message about how everyone is pretty in their own unique way, I mean, I guess I would do something where I show pictures of models.
And I'm insecure because I have to think about what I look like every day. You just need to meet a group of models because they have the thinnest thighs and the shiniest hair and the coolest clothes, and they're the most physically insecure women probably on the planet.
I would match them in with clips of photos of normal, everyday people, and the beauty of humanity.
Damn.
And I talk
Yo.
about how, ever since I was a kid, I wanted to be beautiful. I wish I'd known then what I know now. That I always was. Or yeah, you know, something like that. Bye!
Absolute cinema ending, bro.
The other day I was doing my morning routine.
Absolute cinema. Wow. Bro, I think me and you, are ugly. Are we chopped? Doesn't matter. Probably not, to be honest. Probably does not matter.